Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Emerge Gallery. My name is Robert Langdon. I am, well, I'm pretty much everything here at Emerge. I'm the curator. I'm the marketer. I'm the everything. And My focus here at Emerge is is on emerging artists, pretty much emerging artists, some established artists as well. Mostly from the Hudson Valley. I do have some others elsewhere. The show that we're looking at today, I had started during COVID, and it became one of the real popular ones of the year. It's called Best in Show. And what I do is I asked artists to submit their favorite um, piece that they created during the previous year. So this year it's going to be 2023. I've got some really fantastic work to show today, and some of the artists are here to join us. So let me start by showing you my artsy page. All of my work now. The physical gallery in Saugerties is closed because the majority of 80% of my business is all done online these days. I have a sales shop on artsy.net, which is a platform for brick and mortar galleries to sell their work. Artsy has a huge collector base, both nationally, internationally. By having exhibits on Artsy, I'm really expanding the outreach to for folks in the Hudson Valley. So people from all over the world are literally seeing and buying work from the artists that are represented here in the Hudson Valley. And we've got some fantastic artists. Um, I'm really pleased to welcome them to the gallery and to exhibit their work. Okay, so let me share my screen with you so you can see what I'm seeing. All right. This is the Artsy site. So when you go on Artsy, you will see the main page here. Are you seeing the same thing I am? You are. Okay, great. So this is the main Emerge Gallery page, and you'll see right up front, there's a handful of different shows that I have going at a time. So this is the Best in Show. Um, And then I also have two solo shows going. One is three, Veronica Lawler deconstructing New York City's Kosciuszko Bridge, which the artist spent a little time documenting the deconstruction of the Kosciuszko Bridge, which connects Queens and Manhattan, I believe. So she has, she spent a lot of time watching them pull it apart, and then she abstracted them out. They're really, really gorgeous works. I have another show, Lowell Barr, Playing in the Dark. I offered, probably 4 years ago, I gave Lowell a solo show here at the gallery. Lowell's a wonderful artist here in Saugerties. She has a little bit of a dark side. So this is a sort of a reconstruction of that show from 2018, I believe. And then the next show that we have is Faye Wood, Arrange Whatever Pieces Come Your Way. Faye's an artist here in Saugerties, multimedia. She does some painting, she does some gorgeous tapestries, some assemblages, sculptural pieces. So this is a collection of some sampling of her work. But today we are going to focus on Best in Show. So let's go into that. Once you click on the show, you'll see all of the works all lined up individually here. It's all in alphabetical order. You can click on a piece and it'll bring you right to the piece. If you are interested in the artist's work, you can also click on their name and it will bring you to some more of the works that are available. A lot of the artists here I've worked with for a while, and I have pieces from archive shows. People, believe it or not, still look at some of the older shows and are still ordering. I actually just sent a large piece from the Best in Show in 2021. that went up to Harvard, which was pretty exciting. All right, so let's get back to looking at some of the work. We will, oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm just trying to navigate a bunch of things all at once. Okay. All right, so the first piece we have is by Gary Abrams. Gary, I believe you are here. I did see you, so let me bring up Gary's piece, and then let me bring up Gary for us to hear from. Gotta find you. Okay. Gary, where are you? No, I don't see you. Gary, did you leave? I guess so. Okay. Well, this first piece by Gary Abrams. Gary lives in Goshen, New York. This is called Jackson's Garden. It's a gouache piece. And it's a small one, 8 by 12. Second piece I have is by Robin Adler. Robin is an abstract artist here in Woodstock. This piece is called Crossing. It's oil on canvas. It's 18 by 24. And let's see, it was completed over several months when the artist was making important long-term decisions. The shapes are interlocking, related, but they are choice points and paths leading in various directions. There is an energy in this work that feels like it is breaking free of an old, outdated platform. So this is Robin Adler. Next, I have a piece by Mark Allen. This is a fun little piece. Mark is he works mostly with graphite. So this is called Matisse Glanced Through the Window and Saw Dolly. It's a graphite pencil, pen, and ink on paper. It's 24 by 18. Mark's work is a reflection of where he is. It's a composite of perception and perspective. Each piece is inspired by a memory, and insight, or longing. Next piece is by Pesha Altman. Pesha is a wonderful artist living in New York City. I've had a few pieces of Pesha's in shows. Or I'm sorry, did I miss? Hold on. Yes, New York City. This is called Couples Therapy with Smoking Chin. It's oil on canvas, and it measures 8 by 10. All of these are 2023, by the way. Pesha's paintings and drawings reflect her life, both real and imagined. She wants to capture the raw and honest moments of everyday life. She explores the blurry line between truth and fiction, focusing on fleeting visual experiences that she often captures simultaneously. Her work is mostly figurative, but sometimes evolves into abstraction or symbolism. Okay. Janine Anderson. Janine is a new artist for the gallery. This piece is called Ebb and Flow. Janine lives in Brunswick, Maine. This is a mixed media. It's water-based on paper, and it measures 10 by 9. It was begun in the Atlantic coast in County Mayo, Ireland, and completed on the Atlantic coast of Maine. Moment by moment, we live a life. Mark by mark, we leave a history of that life in that place and in that time. So this is a abstract piece by Janine Anderson, Ebb and Flow. Have a piece by Susan Angelus. This is called Hollow Hollow, which looking at this just makes me want to have a little bit of Hollow Hollow. It's called Hollow Hollow Symphony. It's mixed media, and Hollow Hollow. It's Tagalog, which is the Filipino language for mixed. And Hollow Hollow is a favorite Filipino dessert, which is a mixture of various ingredients such as fruit and root crop preserves, sweetened beans, gelatin cubes, flan, tapioca, coconut strips, and it's topped with crushed ice and milk or ice cream. Halo Halo is a great metaphor for the color-infested Filipino culture. If you ever get an opportunity to try Halo Halo, I would definitely recommend it. It's a very tasty treat, and I think Susan captured it really nicely here. This is a mixed media. There's some really wonderful texture in this as well. Sybil Archibald. Sybil is a an artist in New Jersey. I've been lucky to have exhibited her work a number of times at the gallery and then also at some of the galleries that I ran in New Jersey. This is called Grief Day number 93. It's a monotype. It's ink on archival paper. It's about the physical presence of grief, the weight that we carry unseen by others. It's from her Remembrance series. Her father loved to travel. After he died unexpectedly from a COVID-related stroke, Sybil took his travel photos and began to remake them as monotype prints. It was a way to honor him, a way to feel his presence in the midst of his loss. Over time, these pieces expanded to become a meditation on grief and loss throughout her life, including the physical and emotional losses endured while living with long-term illness. There's a number of pieces in the series, and I would, if you do respond to this, I would certainly suggest you look up Sybil and see the rest of the series. Mira Fink.
Hi.
Here, hey, good to see you.
Hi.
So Mira, congratulations, this piece sold. And it is going to Washington, I believe. So tell us about this piece. It's
Well, yeah, this piece is called Sun Through the Trees on Van Wagenen Road, which is near where I live. And I got interested last year when I was asked to do a commission for somebody of sun coming through the trees and hitting an icy pond and casting shadows on the pond. And so it was kind of an unusual assignment. And after I did that commission, I spent a lot of time looking at how the sun comes through trees and how just this unusual light of trying to capture something that you can't actually directly look at, but the camera can capture. So, how do you paint something you can't actually see? Uh, um, I spent a lot of time sort of half looking and squinting at sun coming through trees for quite a bit of time, and also looking at how other artists handled that effect. And then one day after heavy snowfall uh, last year, I took a walk in my neighborhood and I saw this dramatic scene of the sun coming right through the trees and the snow was falling and there was all kinds of interesting light effects, including the cast shadows on the road. And I love that kind of thing. So I started taking all kinds of photos. I always work from photos in the winter because I'm too much of a wimp to stand out there and paint. That and the watercolor freezes. Anyway, so yeah, I was really excited to do this painting and excited that it's going to a good home. And recently, I just mentioned one more thing. I'm reading this book by Rick Rubin, and it's called The Creative Act. And a friend of mine recommended it. And he says in this book, pay particular attention to the things that take your breath away. And those are the kinds of things I want to paint. Things that I look at and it just takes my breath away. That's like the inspiration for me. And for me, that's almost always something in nature. And the idea is that, you know, it helps me connect with nature, helps me connect with the higher source, and gives some beauty into the world that I can share with other people through my art.
beautiful.
Yeah, that's
If Mira has she's just got a really wonderful sense with her use of watercolor and just the combination of bringing um, seeing nature through your eyes through the watercolor. Most of it's all Hudson Valley inspired. So I encourage you to have a look at some of the other work that Mira has, both on Artsy and then also on her site too.
Thank you,
Mira,
Rob.
it's always a pleasure to have your work here at the gallery and then and also online. And thank you for joining us. I was glad to get you in.
Great, thank you.
See you soon. All right, thank you. Gary, I don't see you here, but you're saying you're here. Let me know if you are, and then I'll pull you back to talk about your piece. This is a piece by Harriet Barrett Foreman. Harriet Foreman Barrett, excuse me. Harriet lives in New Paltz. This is called Regenerating the Earth. It's oil on canvas. It's 24 by 12. Harriet has a real ethereal kind of quality to her work. There's a real spirituality to it. And I've had a number of her works in shows before, and I'm really pleased to have this one as well. Gorgeous scanner photography by this is by Sandra Belitza Vasquez. This is called Spring Growth, and it's scanner photography. It's literally things placed, items placed on a scanner, and then high quality scanner, and then photographed or scanned. Sandra, she's a master at doing this. It's a really beautiful process. This photograph or scanner photograph is just stunning. So the image just shows the flowers' upward movement from the earth in early spring. The katydid and feather are fellow inhabitants of the garden. So this scanner photograph brings together several plants and flowers blooming in her garden at the beginning of the spring. By placing them together on the scanner glass, she preserved their beauty and the memory of them growing forth from the earth. We have another photograph. This is by Maureen Lowenbrenner. Maureen, are you here?
Yes, I am here, Robert.
Let me find you, and I will bring you up so we can talk about this piece. It's my screen. Okay. You'd think I would be a lot quicker with all of this after doing this for so long. I don't see you, Maureen. Can you wave for me?
I'm here.
Okay. Oh, I see you. Great. Oh, sorry about that. All right.
Okay.
So welcome, Maureen. Good to see you. And this is a beauty. Tell us about Decidius. Is that how you pronounce
Yes.
it? Excellent.
Yes. So first of all, thank you, Robert, so much for including me in the show. This piece was actually taken on my cell phone, and it is a multiple exposure with one image being taken with a very slow shutter speed and some camera movement during the exposure. And then the second image is a more standard shot, more standard exposure. And then the two are combined together and then run through various editing apps to come up with this. And the reason I like it is because it adds that depth to it. So I love the textures and colors, but you can really get in there and get lost in kind of the layers and depth that technique adds. So that's why I had submitted it.
It's gorgeous. It really.
Thank you.
Colors are really nice. I also have a few of Maureen's been in a few other shows as well. Some really gorgeous nature photographs, mostly. So please have a look at some more of Maureen's work as well. Thank you, Maureen. This is definitely a best of 2023. It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Those reds are so lush. All right. Next, I have a piece by Natalie Baburka. Natalie is a multimedia artist in Greenville, New York. This is called AI Madonna, and it is an assemblage. Okay, Vion.
I'm here.
Oh, here you are.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good to see you as always.
Yeah,
Welcome.
you too. Hope you're feeling better and
Oh, I am.
happy New Year to you and to everyone.
Just recently got
Beautiful
over.
show. I love this show. Such great work in this show. Nice.
Yeah, it really is the best of 2023. I always look forward to this show.
Yeah, wonderful work. So this one's called Sunset Drive, and this was basically an inspiration from a drive during sunset time. And just the light was so beautiful. It was like a yellow streak all over the sky, and there's a little bit of pink, and there's a little bit of peach, and you see also the darkness kind of coming through as well. And you've got that time where where the trees would look like a silhouette, like a very dark silhouette against the very bright sunset. So you've got that play of darkness against light, so and the softness of the glow in regards vis-a-vis the harshness and the darkness of the dark trees, then the sturdiness of the trees, but also the bareness of the trees. I did this in very recently, actually, December, so last month, right? So the end of basically 2023. And I wanted to kind of capture also the fleetness of the moment, so kind of fast through watercolor, but also the transparency of the fleetness of the moment. And in such, watercolor is a great medium to kind of play a little bit on that idea of like, it's transparent, it's dreamy, but it's also fleeting and goes away very fast. Yeah, so it's a watercolor medium, watercolor painting on archival watercolor paper, and it's 9 by 12 inches, and yeah, I wanted to capture kind of like the nice feeling of, but also the fleeting. Sunset is very short, right? Sometimes you're like, I want to see the sunset, but then you go out and you're like, oh gosh, it's gone already. So it's very fleeting, it's very fast, but it's very fantastic. So, and I was happy that I was driving and I saw it and I'm like, okay, might as well just take the pictures and keep it in my mind and then paint it when I get back to the studio. So that's how the whole progress of this painting.
It's beautiful. It's one of my favorite times of the day, especially for
I like sunrise too.
Yeah.
Don't always wake up to catch the sunrise.
But that magical time right before,
yes.
sunset, where
yes.
the sun can be sort of harsh and give some really great shadows
yes.
So I think you captured between that time and sunset really beautifully.
Thank you.
Vion's been in a number of shows in the past, and I again I would definitely recommend that you go have a look at some of her work on Artsy, and she also just had one of her pieces on the cover of a French fashion magazine. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
You too.
Thanks for joining us. Okay. This is a new artist for the gallery. This is Jenny Campbell. Jenny lives in Cape Elizabeth, Maine. This is called The Dappled Path. It's an oil acrylic and enamel on canvas. It's 24 by 18. I want the viewer to have their own personal relationship with the painting. My inspiration is personal. I feel if the painting is successful, it should address the viewer in a timely and personal way. Everyone has a unique experience. I should not have to explain. I agree. I think that everyone, everyone can, especially an abstract piece, everyone can see art in a different way, and I think we all bring our own personal experiences into that, which, for me, makes a real unique viewing experience when looking at a lot of art. So, welcome, Jenny. Thank you for that. This is a collage piece by Celine Cardwell. This is a lot of fun. Love the flamingo there, and all of the pinks and the reds just match beautifully. Celine is an artist living in Hyde Park, New York. Next, we have a piece from Heather Caulfield. Heather lives over in Olive Bridge. This is called Comfortable Creatures, and this is a movable collograph. It is a small piece. It's 8 by 10. Another piece by Larry Cavaney. Larry, I originally saw on Instagram. Larry does a lot of pop culture paintings, and one of the things that I was really drawn to is that he has a yard sale where he sort of lays his canvases all throughout the yard. He has a big yard, and I just think it's a wonderful idea. His work is a lot of fun. He lives in Tubac, Arizona, and this is Francis Bacon. It's a large piece. It's 44 by 44. Okay. Sydney Cohen. Sydney is a new artist for the gallery. Sydney, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. This one's not
But
mine.
it's me. It's Frida.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're gonna skip over me?
You're up. You're up next, Frida. I'm sorry.
I'm like, it's alphabetical, so I'm
Like-
getting like, it's getting close.
My apologies, Sydney.
That's okay.
You're up. So Frida, yes, Frida is a new artist for the gallery as well. And this is a piece called Bethesda Fountain. Frida, you're up in Whitestone, New York, is that right?
Yeah, it's Queens, New York
Oh.
City.
Okay. All right, so please tell us about this piece.
So I'm an plein air painter, but I do watercolors. And as a city girl, you're always trying to find like a balanced nature and, you know, architecture or something. And Central Park is one of my go-to places. I go all the time. I've wanted to do the fountain for decades. I painted it once a really long time ago and then spent the last 10 years saying, I gotta go back, I gotta go back. And whenever I would go back, it's such a daunting subject with the water and the people. And but this year I just decided I was gonna go for it. So I did quite a few paintings, multiple times. And this was
Hold on. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
this was my favorite. I actually looked into how to paint sculptures because I was finding it really difficult. Do you approach it like a person? Do you approach it like an object? And then water. I looked at how other people had done it. And it's actually a kind of large for me. It's 16 by 20. It's as large as it can be outdoors for me. And I felt like I had done a lot of smaller ones and needed a bigger piece of paper so that I could explore it.
It's a grand sculpture. I mean, I've seen it so many times over the years. One of my favorites, and I think you really captured it beautifully.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you, Frida. All right, Sydney. Sydney Cohen, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You got it. This is a
Um,
gorgeous piece.
Sorry?
This is a gorgeous piece.
Thanks. Thank you.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I'm based in Providence, Rhode Island. I go to Rhode Island School of Design. This piece for me, I think, was like definitely a turning point in my practice. I think like going in now, being in my mid-20s and thinking about like what I want to do in my career and my life and all the decisions that I'm like coming up against as I am getting ready to finish my academic chapter. This piece for me like really was inspired by just all the things that I'm thinking of. And, you know, I think a word I use a lot when I describe my practice is existential angst, is kind of like the phrase I think that goes through a lot of what I make. A lot of my work is self-portraiture based and focuses on my life. And I think as my self-portraiture practice has evolved, and like particularly I think that started with this photo, kind of thinking about how photography is often perceived as truth. But at the end of the day, like every photograph is created, and photographing oneself at the end of the day does become kind of a performance. So how do I balance the things that are so like important to my life that I want to convey, even though those things, like me making decisions about my life, I can't photograph that. So how do I make myself perform in a photograph in a way that can help convey what I want to? So yeah, this was shot in Western Massachusetts during quite a significant snowstorm, which was a lot of fun, helped with the light a lot. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to make, like my biggest print to date, the print size. So yeah, it was really fun. Thank you.
Was there, it has a real painterly quality to it. Did you use any kind of, and any kind of apps to do that, or
No, I'm really like a big believer of the like in-camera process. I'm personally not the biggest fan of Photoshop. I'm not the most skilled at it. So I really try to do everything I want to do in the camera. The only thing I really added was there's an artificial lighting component inside the house that I'm shooting in. Other than that, I really try to do everything in the camera itself. Yeah.
digital camera?
Yep.
Great. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Congratulations and good luck at school. I think
Thank you.
you're going in the right direction.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Sydney. I appreciate it. Okay. Jure Coleman. Jure is lives in Jacksonville, Florida. This is called Blue on Green, and it's acrylic. It's 24 by 30. I truly paint from my heart and soul. Each piece is what I'm inspired by or feeling in that moment. I stand in front of the blank canvas and wait for it to speak to and through me using texture and color. Originally from Boston, the mother of 3 daughters, Jure is currently residing in Jacksonville, Florida. She found her voice as an abstract artist 3 years ago. She's self-taught, and each painting is an expressive experiment inspired by the people, sights, music, and energy around her. It's a really beautiful abstract piece. It's really a really nice example of a sort of a gestural kind of abstraction. The colors go together really beautifully. Anna Colvecchio. Anna, I think you're here.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, I am here.
fine.
Hello, everyone. Thank
Huh?
you so much, Robert, for putting together this amazing show and the gathering of the artists. My
Absolutely.
first time here. I'm super excited.
I'm really pleased to have this. This is a really gorgeous piece.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm based in, my studio is in Jersey City, but I'm so close to New York and I've lived there for so many years that my entire body of work is connected with the city. It's actually my exploration of my relationships with the place. I'm an immigrant. I came to New York City from Russia 8 years ago. And it was a very difficult time in my life. Immigration is never easy. But art kind of helped me process what was happening in the moment. And I could continue this exploration. I'm still doing it 8 years later. One of the things that inspired and took my breath away for like several days. One of the first experiences in New York City in summer 2015 was me witnessing Manhattan Henge, and this painting is about that moment. When the sun is going down or it's going up, it's a sunrise, but that never happens. Like everyone is asleep at that time, right? But when the sun is going down and you are standing in the middle of the island, you can see how it's perfectly sliding between full glass human-made skyscrapers. This is an absolutely magical moment. It feels like this should never happen, but somehow it's happening right now. It's happening with you. And this is what I tried to capture with this painting. I usually work on wood panels, but this painting is on canvas. It's 16 by 20. It's behind me, actually. You can see it over there. I make my own primer for the canvases and the wood panels. I mix speckling paste and wool paint. And the texture that this mixture produces is it's something between an ancient fresco and a New York subway wall, and that's the effect I'm trying to reach, because I want to get this feeling of absolute timelessness and something a little bit dirty, a little bit gross, but at the same time beautiful, because it has all of this history, all of those layers and textures in it. And gold leaf is the element that adds this magical touch to the end. So this is my favorite piece. It has been in 2 exhibitions in 2023. I actually had to send it to London. So I'm very proud of it as well.
It really is a beautiful piece, and I you know, I mean, you usually see photographs of Manhattan, you know, Manhattan. So to see a different interpretation of it is really nice and refreshing. So I was really, really pleased to see this coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Anna. I'm sorry, I meant to click back on the image, but
Oh, good.
thank you. And I hope to see some more of your work.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, this is a piece by Arabella Colton. Arabella is an artist living here in Saugerties. This is called Rocks and Reeds, East Bridge Street, Saugerties, New York, 2023, and it's an iPhone photograph. I have a really nice abstract piece from Rita Cook. Rita is an artist living in Texas. This is called Quater Temporibus. Never studied Greek, so I'm probably not pronouncing that right, if that is Greek. It's 36 by 36. It's Latin. Okay, it's Latin for her 4 seasons. This abstract painting is about the colors of the seasons and the spiritual energy of each dynamic of the changing seasons as humans change with the moments Geiger offers. Okay. Another beautiful piece from Shelley Davis. Shelley's an artist living here in Saugerties in the hamlet of Malden on the Hudson. Shelley usually is up for the challenge of the different themes of the shows I put together, and I'm always pleased with what comes from Shelley. So this is called Pixelating Planet. Nancy, are you here? Thought I saw
Hi,
you.
Robert. Just had you on mute.
Okay, let me find you. Always a pleasure to have Nancy here. Nancy a lot of times comes in person, but not this time.
I didn't know where you would be.
Yeah, I'm actually at the gallery. So
Oh, now you tell me. Thank you.
yeah. Nancy did some beautiful photographs through pretty much all landscape, nature based, very inspired by Rhode Island, Cape Cod, and the sea. So Nancy, really another beautiful piece. The piece is called Dune Grasses on Long Island.
Thank you.
Yeah, tell us about this piece, your process.
You know, as you well know, probably better than almost anybody else in the universe, I like photographing on the coast, on beaches, and exploring different themes. You know, ships. Sometimes I have Newport Harbor is one of those places I go to a lot, and I find dune grasses. There's something elusive about being able to photograph them really well. I just don't know whether I've done it yet. Maybe this is it. But this is actually a place that I've not shown you any pictures of before, and yet it's where I grew up. This is on Long Beach, Long Island. And it was during the hurricane season at the end of last August, and my cousin and I were walking on the boardwalk there. And then there were these dune grass, and there were places to sit. There were benches. And so I was just looking at them, and then I stood up, and I thought it was a nice scene. And the thing is, it's not only the dune grasses, but you get a slice of the beach, and then you get the ocean behind it. And then you get the color there with that's the lifeguard stand. And he has a red flag up saying that there's no swimming there. And then an umbrella with some blue and white in it. So it gave it some more of that color. And I took the picture, and I processed it with a filter that I often use. It's a very good filter because it can soften the texture. And with something like dune grass, it's a good idea sometimes to be able to soften the texture, because otherwise it can get very just distracting, too busy, you know. So this way I was able to soften it and yet still have some detail. That's what this particular filter does. And so, and of course, with these filters that you have in, say, Topaz or one of those things, you've got something where you can slide it and make the filter. You can use 100% of it, or, you know, less, more or less opaque than that. So this is what I got. There's a slight vignette on it because this particular filter just happens to have that.
It's a beautiful piece. I really like that pop of red, you know, on the lifeguard stand is beautiful. I think it draws your eye right to it.
Yeah, that was such luck. As I say, it was a day when people couldn't go in the water, so he has the red flag up because of
you know,
the surf was.
Those are those you know, by chance kind of instances. Yeah. I encourage you, if you're responding to Nancy's work, to please have a look on Artsy. There's quite a bit of Nancy's work. Really, really beautiful work. Thank you as always, Nancy.
Thanks, Robert. See you soon.
You will. All right. Thanks for joining us. Dawn DeSico. Dawn lives in Red Bank, New Jersey. I knew Dawn from when I ran a couple galleries in New Jersey, one of them being in Red Bank. This piece is called You Are What You Eat. It's acrylic on canvas, and it's 36 by 36. Mary Elwin. Mary lives in West Hurley. This is called Karen's Bouquet. It's oil on linen, and it's 30 by 24. Mary has a really, really beautiful way of capturing still lifes in sort of a pretty magical quality. Michelle Feinberg. Michelle is a new artist for the gallery. Michelle lives in Boston. This is called Twisted. It's acrylic on canvas, and it's 36 by 36. The free flow of lines gives me a sense of freedom. Being able to create intuitively allows me to express myself in ways that words cannot. I'm hoping that my viewers get a sense of playfulness and joyfulness. I want them to see that in a world that is so severe most of the time, it is all right to take some time to be a little less serious. This is a very happy piece. I like it a lot. Lynn Friedman. This is a really beautiful drawing. Lynn lives over in Connecticut, I believe. Is that right? Yes. And this is called Song of Autumn. It's pen and ink on Arches paper. And then, oh, here we go. Anna Fearon. Anna is an artist living in High Falls, New York. This is called Native of Lou. It's a photograph. It's 10 by 8. It's a salvage yard piece, a product of nature meets industrial. The subject matter materialized from decades of upstate New York weather extremes, playing with paint, together with chemical reactions that makes their way across the metal. And I think she captured that really beautifully. Andrea Geraputo, who I just saw. She was just here. Let's see. Andrea, here we go. Oh, I just passed you. Here you go. Great. You're on mute, so you need to unmute yourself, Andrea. You here? Oh,
yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Welcome.
Hi.
Good to see you virtually now. I just saw you in person maybe an hour ago.
Yes, it was nice to see you.
Good to see you too. Andrea is a really wonderful fiber artist. This is a fun piece. So tell us about Blue Mermaid, Andrea.
Okay, Blue Mermaid is a textile collage made with fabric, beads, sequins, and other things. But all of which, well, most of which I collect from secondhand stores, thrift shops, and so forth. And the Blue Mermaid is a play on words because obviously it's about the color, but it's also about how the mermaid is feeling because she's facing the destruction of her watery world in a way, which is all down to climate change. And I was quite pleased with how the hair came out. I used vintage Rick Rack and it came out kind of seaweedy. So I was happy about that. And I like, the reason I chose it for the Best in Show is because it's very calm and balanced and serene, but then there's another side to it.
Yeah, I think anything with that speaks to a higher purpose are as I'm always welcome. So I mean, it's a really beautiful, calm, serene piece, as you said, but I think it in the long run it carries a really nice message.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.
And we'll see you. I'll see you around town. See you at the coffee shop.
Yes, always good to see you. Thanks.
Okay, this is by Linda Gillen. Linda is an artist living in Englewood, New Jersey. This is called White Peonies. It is this is acrylic and it's 12 by 12. It's a little smaller piece. Have a really gorgeous mixed media, most encaustic piece by Tina Glavin. Tina lives in Long Island City, New York. This is plaster, sand, gesso, glass beads, watercolor, and encaustic. It's 9 by 12. Tina's really does a great job with using encaustic and different materials. I had her in my last wax show. And she did a couple really gorgeous encaustic pieces. Christine Graff. Christine is a wonderful artist living in New York City. Christine uses a lot of different pieces, almost as an assemblage. This is called For the Loved and Lost in Regional Wars. It's a mixed media. It's an antique book, wood, fabric, and ink. In the past 2 years, we have been inundated with the sad news of regional wars in Ukraine, Israel, and Palestine. The loss of life in the thousands, the destructions of lands, cities, and sovereignties has put the world in jeopardy. Here in the US, we are safe for the moment. As an artist, one is influenced by this news and one feels a sense of helplessness for humanity knowing war is pointless. Yet making art in response to war is a natural and healing one. This artwork presented here is a means of honoring all those loved and lost in those regional wars. As I said, I think it's really important to have a message behind art sometimes. And Christine, most of her work is all has a message behind it. Okay, this is Susan Greenstein. Susan, are you here?
I'm here.
Right. Welcome.
Hi.
Really beautiful watercolor of over in Portland.
Yes, yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much. First, this show is really beautiful. I'm so happy that I'm hearing other artists talk about their work. It's really a beautiful combination of work. I've been to your gallery a few times while I was doing workshops at Washburn Studios.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I believe we met once. And I'm excited that you will continue by being online from now on.
Well, actually, I just want to put in a plug for Washburn Studios. Tina Piccolo runs Washburn Studios here in Saugerties. She has a beautiful home where she welcomes artists in for weekend retreats. So you get room and board, you get some classes. So if you're looking for a little professional development and then just to get away into Saugerties for the weekend, please look up Tina at Washburn Studios. I'm sorry, Susan.
That's quite all right. It's a great program. I'm glad that you said something about it. So this is I'm a plein air artist. I work mostly in watercolor. I still have not gotten tired of watercolor after all the years I've been using them. And this was the reason that this is such a special painting to me. I loved what Mira Fink said earlier about from the book that she was reading, The Creative Act, to follow those, you know, those responses that you have that are, you know, those really special things that you see or feel. And this was that for me. I was visiting Portland, Oregon for the first time. And I love the relationship between nature and architecture. That's something that I'm constantly playing with in my work, and also pattern in nature. And there were all these houses that are arts and crafts style houses, and these gardens that are just growing wild over everything. I loved the fact that this house almost felt like it was buried in all of this growth. You know, I had been thinking I can paint this, maybe I'll go back to paint this, and I turned the corner and found this, and that was my aha moment. So it just became a very special experience for me, and I felt like it was the best for the year for me, you know, having this experience and creating this painting.
It's a beautiful piece. I don't give, if you know, if this is representative of your watercolors, don't give it up.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I mean, there's such wonderful movement in this piece. You know, I feel like I'm there. It's really just stunning.
Great. Thank you.
Welcome, Susan. I'm glad to have this here.
Thank you.
To see you again. Running a little behind, so I'd rather give the artist most of the time to talk instead of everyone hearing me. So I'm just going to present the rest of the pieces. This is or the rest of the pieces without you know, just titles and visuals. So this is by Tom Hackett. Tom lives in Kingston. This is called Sturgeon Moon, Saco Bay. It is a photograph. And the name was given by Native Americans, fishing tribes, for the first full moon in August. This is a piece by Eddie Hall. This is called Dyed. It's acrylic on a recycled window, and it's 26 by 28. Eddie lives in Berlin, Connecticut. Have a fun piece from Dion Hitchings. Dion lives in Milford, New Jersey. This is called Walk on the Wild Side. It's all, as you can see, there's all Andy Warhol characters there. There's you've got Jackie Curtis and Holly Woodlawn. There's Andy himself, Joe D'Alessandro. So this is a fun piece. Walk on the Wild Side. Beautiful piece by Yoko Aizu. Yoko lives in Woodstock. This is called Walk the Earth, Eyes Turned Skyward. It's acrylic mixed media on gold leaf paper, and it measures 19 by 25. Another gorgeous photograph by Andy Keynes. Andy lives in Rensselaer County, New York. This is called Dried Peonies. And it measures 15 by 12. I believe this was a traditional 35 millimeter camera. A fun piece by Anton Kaplan. Anton lives in Maplewood, New Jersey. Anton, are you here with us? Let's see. No. Okay, so this is called Little Guy number 18, and it's a monotype, and it is a little guy. It's only 5.5 inches. Marina. I think Marina's here. I think I saw you, no? If you are here, just yell your name so, you know, wave so I could see you, but Marina is not here. Okay. Marina lives in New Jersey as well. This is called Lemon Drop. It's mixed media, oils on metal, and it's a small piece, 8x8. Martha Klein. Martha is an artist, a wonderful artist living here in High Falls, New York. This is called Serene Winter. It's acrylic and it's 12 by 24. Happy to have another piece by Deborah Block-Kroll. Deborah also lives in New Jersey. I have a lot of ties to New Jersey. I'm a Jersey boy and I used to run a few galleries there. So I'm lucky to still be in touch with a lot of the artists I work with. Although Deborah was not one of them. I didn't really meet her until I opened the gallery here. This is called Transcendence. It's acrylic on canvas and it's sold. So congratulations to Deborah. This is a fun piece. I like this one a lot. This is a new artist for me, Phil Leith Titrault. Phil lives over in the Bronx. This is called Wild Woods. It's a digital print on paper. Digital is something that I've been trying to warm up to. I have been. And when I see pieces like this, you know, it brings joy to me. The colors are just really a lot of fun in this piece. So welcome, Phil. Barbara, are you here? Barbara Tepper-Levy. Barbara,
I'm here.
You are great. Good. Let me pull you up. I thought I saw you earlier. Barbara, I like Barbara's work a lot. Barbara lives here in Saugerties. I'm not seeing you, Barbara.
We're both here. Rich and I are both here.
Oh, you are great. Okay, let's do Barbara first. Welcome, Barbara, and that's Rich behind you, who will be talking about his work next. So welcome, Barbara. As I said, you know, I'm a fan of both of your work. I really like Barbara, as I said before. I'm really enjoying what you've been doing for the last probably 2 years. And I'm really pleased to have them at the gallery. And Rich too, you know, I mean, Rich, I'll give a plug for the Woodstock School of Art. Fantastic organization here in the area. They have top-notch instructors. And I know Rich has been taking some classes there. And I love what's been coming out. So Barbara, take it away. Tell us about A Mermaid Dream.
Okay. I work in a lot of different mediums, and that's kind of reflected in this. I like to work with a lot of components. This started out with just the central piece of it as a straight collage, kind of just using paper and pulling things into each other and out of each other almost in a pattern. So it was almost like it started as almost like a very stark square piece with just the mermaid's head and the mermaid's feet coming out of it. And I left it that way for a while because I liked it, but it felt very stark. So I started working on it again a couple of months ago, and putting a lot of different kinds of media into it. There's salt, there's paint, there's acrylic paint in it, but there's salt and there's glue and there's, what's the word I'm looking for? A glaze. I use glaze a lot in pieces. So she went from being a very stark creature to being somebody who was really one with the sea. And the word dream was in there, so it seemed natural to me just to put it in there as a mermaid dream.
I like the use of salt. I think it's very clever. And it fits this piece nicely. I'm assuming that this is the salt here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice. It gives a really nice effect. Beautiful, Barbara. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to let Rich sit down.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm going to go back to my sashiko mending.
All right. Rich, this is a fun piece, self-portrait, obviously. I wanted to ask you, do you do the life drawing classes over at Levin Jane? Been?
I'm sorry, the life drawing classes where?
At 11 Jane Street?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. That's what I thought. Again, if you're in the area, the Jane Street Gallery offers a wonderful life drawing modeling session. I think it's once a week on Mondays, I believe, but have a look at their website. And I've been, following Rich on social media, and I really like what you've been doing there as well. So please, Rich, take it away.
Well, thank you for having me. And, I guess this was done 2 consecutive weekends at a still lifes workshop at the Woodstock School of Art, with time spent in my home studio in between the 2 sessions. And I guess these days, everybody is working under the background threat of AI replacing art generated by artists. I'm always, I guess, subconsciously thinking, how can I make my work interesting so that it doesn't look AI generated? So in fact, I'm competing with an AI that's out there somewhere, and that it's not just a rendition of what's in front of me. After a while, that kind of gets old, and I'm sure everybody who interprets reality thinks that. And so in between the 2 sessions, it struck me that I could actually do a self-portrait. That the frame in front of the palette and the painting was in fact a little still life. And what I did was, based on the measurements I took from the first week's worth of work, I ordered a custom sized mirror, which I then brought back to the studio setup and placed right inside that picture frame. And then I had one of the students take a picture of my reflection in that mirror. The mirror had to be withdrawn because other people were painting the still life and they didn't want the mirror there. And so I, from a cell phone photo at the session, filled in my self-portrait. So that's how that happened. And it was, like you said, just fun to do. And it doesn't always occur to me that, something unusual that it adds to the fun of the piece, but in this case it did. So it was very thrilling for me once it was finished. Like I say, by the way, I'm sorry to see you go in a physical way. I know you'll be there online, and it's been a high point for my wife and I, and obviously we'll continue to participate, hopefully, in your shows. And I think what's being shown today is great. I really like the input from all the artists. It's very instructional. And thanks again for having us.
Oh, my pleasure, Rich. And thank you for those kind words. I mean, it's I'm sorry to lose the presence here, but I'm my plan and hopes are to continue doing pop-up shows here and there, maybe for a month or 2 in town. I'll still be working with Shout Out Socrates in organizing different events in the community, as well as doing, exhibits here and there at the Lamb House or Lamb Center. So I'm not going anywhere.
Good.
Just, not here 7 days or weekends. So I appreciate that, Rich. I'm really pleased to have this. I think that the color balance is really beautiful. I mean, you did it, great job with the pink and those neutral colors, and then that pop of blue on the left. I think it really, really well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, Rich. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with next. Keep posting. Thank you, Rich. Yvette Lewis. Yvette is a artist here in Socrates. Yvette she's got a real ethereal quality to her work, and a lot of very feminist kind of themes. This is called I Wake Until I Sleep. It's oil on canvas, and it's 40 by 30. This is a piece by a new artist for the gallery, Alyssa Lanzo. Alyssa lives in Miami. This is called How Mildred Taught Me. It's acrylic on yarn. I do want to read a little bit about this piece to you. As a child, my grandmother's room was a veritable treasure trove. It was a fascinating mix of bygone relics, such as the bulky old television set, and modern conveniences like the sleek touchscreen phone that she struggled to use but insisted on having. The wooden dressers were adorned with dainty doilies, serving as the perfect resting place for her childhood possessions, her perfume tray, her church Bible, and the framed photographs of the family. When I was around 12 years old, she took out her crochet needles and yarn and invited me to sit with her. Unfortunately, our time together was cut short, and she was unable to craft our projects, remaining eternally unfinished. The memory of her delicate doilies cradling her precious items has remained etched into my mind, and I'll never forget the lesson she taught me. So this is a bit of an homage to her. And then you've got the doilies that are coming off of each edge. Alexandria Lorenzo. Alexandria is another artist new for the gallery. This is called The Setup. Alexandria lives in Miami as well. If any of the artists are here, and I don't see you, please just speak up and I'll bring you up. So this is called The Setup. It's a digital painting and it's 21 by 28. Beautiful abstract piece, like a geometric abstract by, this is Valentina Luna. Valentina lives in New York, New York. This is called Casa Organica. Valentina, are you here? I had you on the list, no? All right, it's okay. And it's 40, this is 48 by 35 and it's acrylic. Linda, I know Linda's here. Linda Linton.
Yeah, here we go. Well, I have a confession in that this was not painted last year.
Okay.
But it's been tinkered with over the years.
Okay.
So yeah. Plein air in the Catskill Mountains. And it just got tinkered with. Getting those rocks to look right was a interesting issue. And then I put it on my bedroom wall because I really liked it, and it stayed there for a couple of years.
Well, sometimes, sometimes it takes a few years for you to really work things out. And, I mean, I'm not a painter, but I'm a poet. And I find that at certain points I do get, to a point where I can't move it any further and I just put it aside and I'll revisit it again at another time. So, even though it was not started last year, it was, completed last year. So I mean, technically.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to mention that Linda's got a really beautiful series of paintings that explore the what's the river again? I'm sorry.
Sawkill River.
Oh yes, the Sawkill River that runs through a huge part of the Hudson Valley. Linda spent a year exploring the river, getting to know the people that live along the river, and she's got a beautiful collection of oil paintings from that trip, which are on the Artsy site. So if you have a few moments, go have a look at it. It's really, really informative just hearing the stories behind each of the pieces as well. And it's a bit of a little visual and historical journey down the Sawkill River.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's interesting because it starts at a glacial lake in the wilderness up on, was it Mount Overlook? And in the Indian, what's it called? Indian River Reservation? I can't remember, but it goes all the way down to the Hudson. And it really is interesting about where it goes and the history.
Yeah.
Of all the different areas it goes through. Yeah. Yeah.
Is this part of that series?
Huh?
Is this part of that series?
Yeah, well, yes and no, because there was one farm in the hills which I returned to several times. So it is a part of the series, but it isn't because, it was one of those times when I returned and I went back because, the farmers were really sweet, and there was just it was just coming out of the wilderness into farmland, but this farm pretty remote. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, it was always a pleasure to have your work here, Linda.
Yeah. Oh, pleasure to be here and to see all the great art. Yeah,
It's a really good show. I agree.
yeah, yeah, it really is. Yeah,
And then yeah, there's lots of Linda's work on the Artsy site. So she's got the Saltkill River, as I said, and then a number of pieces from other shows
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah.
look at some of Linda's work.
Yeah.
Hope everything in Vermont is okay.
oh yeah, yeah.
We
We've just had snow. It's
Yeah,
turning sunny again now, but
we just got a snow squall come through.
yeah.
That time of year.
I think you suffered the snow and the storms worse than we did up here. I don't know.
Hopefully it seems like we have.
Yeah,
Well, Linda, always a pleasure, and we'll
Yeah.
talk soon.
I know. Good to see you. Yeah. Right. Bye.
You're all going to see my big face because we're done with it. Or we're seeing everybody. All right, great. So let's move on to my next page. Jim, I saw that you are here. I don't know if you want to join us and talk about your piece, Jim McKee. But you are up next. Let me share with everybody what I have here.
Yes.
Hey, how are you?
Hang in there. Yeah.
So you are here. Great. Let me pull you up. Jim McKee lives in
Gettysburg,
Pennsylvania. And for some reason this is not expanding. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's yeah, I sent you an email about the distorted photo.
Yeah, I had replaced it, but it doesn't look like it's working. All right. So tell us about it, Jim. Jim has had a piece. I don't know if you saw over the summer. I had a countdown clock of Jim's in the window, which brought a lot of attention. So tell us about this piece, Jim. This is called Masks, correct?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, I have bipolar disorder, and I'm sort of on a mission with some of my art to share that. And occasionally I have the good fortune of somebody responding to that, and it hits home for them. And so that's the whole purpose of it. This is about, when you have bipolar, you learn to put masks on in different situations, basically to protect yourself and not really reveal who you are. And sometimes you do that too long and then you don't know who you are. So, and the writing on here, I screwed up the spelling, which I do often. I use words a lot on almost most of my art. And I have dyslexia, so I often make mistakes and I correct them. But in this case, I had to enter this in a show, and it was a deadline thing, and I didn't have time to correct it. So the spelling, I corrected the spelling by adding the CE below the word, and now that it's been photographed so much and people like it and stuff that I can't change it now. It's sort of, so I'm owning my dyslexia in this case. So
I'm
actually on the road. I'm going to a reception in a couple days in Palm Beach, where one of my pieces will be in a major gallery at the Ryan Light Sang Bipolar Foundation's big show in Palm Beach.
Fantastic. Congratulations. This is a lot of artists. Again, my art is poetry, but I use it as a way to sort of work out my issues and my things. And I think that, you know, art for a lot of folks offers that opportunity, like yourself, Jim. So it's great to be able to sort of work all these things out through art and really, you know, put yourself out there on the canvas or on you know, on paper or as a sculpture. Well, have a great time in Florida, Jim. Thanks for joining us again.
Yeah. And yeah, I have to get going. I'm at a rest stop, but thanks for having me in the show.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure. And I'm glad you pulled over to join us today.
All right.
Great. Drive safe. All right. Bye-bye. Okay. The next piece we have is by Marjorie Magid. Marjorie is a artist living here in Saugerties. This is called On the Beach 2. On the original On the Beach was part of our Art and Word show back in April. So this is a follow-up to that. Oh, goodness. Sorry, folks. Next we have, where's Kendall? Here we go. This is a piece by Kendall Matsuta. Kendall lives in Port Ewan, New York. This is called Swoon Swoon. It's acrylic, oil-based markers, airbrushed with watercolor ink, and it's 24 by 24. Next, we have a really wonderful collage by Dorothea Marcus. Dorothea is an artist living in Woodstock. She's a photographer and also a collage artist. I'm a big fan of her collage work. And this one I think is definitely one of her best for certainly this year. Tally Margolin. Tally lives in Brooklyn. This is a piece called Cranes. Cranes is a mixed media on fabric. It's 46 by 56. I don't think you're here, Tally, are you? No. All right, next we have Kate Masters. Kate lives here in Saugerties. Kate is mostly a landscape artist. She does do some abstract work as well. This is called Trail to the Edge. It's oil, it's 10 by 20. And I know that Kate spends a lot of time in Ireland and creates some really gorgeous paintings of the sceneries in Ireland. So I'm thinking this is from that series, but I may be wrong. In any case, it's gorgeous. I love those lush greens. Noah McGrath. Noah is a wonderful artist living in Woodstock. This is called 1000 Yard Stare. It's oil on paint. Noah's been taking some abstract classes at the Woodstock School of Art with Melanie Delgado, who's a top-notch abstract artist. If you're, you know, if you're having a little problem, if you're more of a figurative artist and just having a little problem loosening up and you know, letting yourself go abstract, Melanie's the gal for you. She'll definitely help you through, and she has a great way with kids. She runs some children's classes as well. But that was Noah's. Noah's is one of her top students, and I'm always happy to see when that comes out. This is a photograph by Madeline Meeker, who lives in Waco, Texas. This is called Kodak. It's 24 by 36. Another abstract piece by Hadass Milad. Hadass lives in Kingston. I've got a number for pieces from previous shows as well. This is one of her abstract pieces. It's called Indigos, and it's watercolor on paper. It's 12 by 9. Another new artist for the gallery. This is Charlie Mitcherson. Charlie lives in Saugerties as well. This is called Reflections. It's a digital photograph, and it's 16 by 20. Beautiful drawing by who is this? Oh, Vicky Morgan. Vicky lives in New Paltz. This is a charcoal and pastel piece. It's 12 by 19. It's called Young Lady with Pink Shoes. And I just love that little pop of pink there. Ingrid Nichter is a young artist, younger than me, I should say. So to me, if you're under 50, you're young. Ingrid lives in Kingston, New York. This is, look at the little one. It's mixed media on canvas. They're 48 by 30. Ingrid has a real fun sense of play in her work. She's got a little bit of an outsider feel to her work. There's great texture. If you're interested in Ingrid's work, there was quite a bit of her work on Artsy, including a solo show that we had done last year. So please have a look at Ingrid's work. It's a fun little piece by Will Nixon. I know Will mostly as a poet, but he started drawing, and he had, I don't know, a couple months ago, he asked if I would come and look at some of his black and white ink drawings. And they're, you know, a lot of them are very playful and a little primitive, but I think they were really, really appealing. This is one of them, and this is called, it's untitled. Will, as a poet, you need to start titling your work, because all of your work is untitled, and I know you have a mastering of language. So there you go. All right, Dustin Oriente. I think I pronounced that right, I hope. Yes, Oriente. Dustin lives in Staten Island. This is a photograph. It's called Sprout, and it's 8.5 by 11. Jacqueline Oster, a wonderful watercolor artist. Jacqueline lives in Hurley, I believe. This is called, yes, West Hurley. This is called Recycle Carton. It's watercolor. It's 12 by 9. Jacqueline does some really, really wonderful still life with watercolor, and her pieces are so fluid and so colorful. I really love her work. That's Jacqueline Oster. Janet, I'm happy to have you here.
Robert, hi, how are you? Hi.
A long time. I still remember the pieces that I had in the Brooklyn show.
98.8 miles from Brooklyn to Saugerties that you invited myself and several other Brooklyn artists. I guess most of them were artists, but anyways, that was 8 years ago.
It was one of my first shows. So happy to have you as, you know, as part of one of the first and well, not one of the last, but if it were at the gallery, but in any case, let me see if I can pull up the image for this, because it's not letting me.
I know there were some technical difficulties with the.
Yeah, with okay, so let me share this with you. Hold on, so you get the full image here. I'm going to stop sharing this. And let's share this. Here you go. Okay, so you've got the full image here.
Wow, thank you. Anyways, nice to be here and be included in this virtual show. And this is a piece from Brooklyn. It's the Gowanus Canal, and I painted it plein air on location. And it was a pretty kind of an overcast day, and I just really enjoyed working in oil again. I'm painting more in acrylic and other mediums, but getting back to oil and working out, it's representational, but I'm really kind of going for the shapes and abstracting that way. And so that's why I chose this piece as my personal favorite of 2023.
The colors are just wonderful. That green and that little pop of red. I think it's beautifully balanced. You know, it's really a gorgeous piece. I can see why it's your favorite.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing some more of your work.
All right.
I enjoy enjoy seeing what you post on social media. So I'm looking forward to more.
All right. Thanks, Robert.
Got it. Thanks for joining me, Janet. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Okay. let's go back to sharing the other screen. It's this one, right? Yes. Okay, great. So thank you, Janet. Next, we have a gorgeous portrait by Denise Pollock.
I'm here.
You are here, Denise. Great.
Hi.
Wonderful.
It's so nice to meet you, Robert. Thank you for including me. I'm so excited to be part of this.
Oh, my pleasure. It's a really gorgeous, gorgeous piece.
Thank you.
Yeah, so please tell us about Down in the Weeds.
So I'm a therapist. I mean, I was trained as an artist. I have a BFA, but I decided to go back to school and become a psychotherapist counselor. So I spend a lot of hours looking at people, watching them, listening. Sometimes I talk a little to help them out with their problems, but I like looking at people and observing their micro expressions and how their moods change. So I tend to like focus on that in my painting. I like, for some reason, it's kind of blurry on my screen. I'm not sure why. But anyway, I like figurative art. I like painting people and animals. This particular painting, there was a photo of a girl in that dress in a studio. It was just a studio shot. And I decided that I really liked the pattern and the bodice of her dress. And I wanted to just do more with the flowers and the color scheme and just kind of like use that as a foundation for a painting. You know, Down in the Weeds, I just kind of wanted her to look like she was thinking about something, like, you know, I wanted it to be a calm painting, but something that also would make the viewer curious about why she was there, or what she was thinking of. So that's kind of what that painting's about.
It's beautiful, and I'm sorry. I really like the fact that you know, you're using art combined with psychotherapy, or at least, you know, in your own practice, your own process.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, art therapy especially is really beneficial for a lot of people, and you know, I'm all for it. I used to work at a gallery where we would work with adults with traumatic brain injuries, and it was just so rewarding to you know, to work with a population like that, and to really engage with them and expose them to art. So kudos to you for well, for taking that for taking that very important role, and for, you know, using art in your own practice, because I think I'm sure you take on a lot in your professional job, and you know, being able to paint a portrait like this is
Well, it's my escape, because, you know, I'm dealing with very intense emotional situations. So when I'm in my studio, it's my calm, quiet time that I can just reflect. But I like to just kind of bear in mind, like, the things that I'm learning by talking to people, like real people, not, you know, models sitting in front of me, but, you know, real people.
Exactly, yeah. And it you know, I mean, it shows. I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful work. So thank you for sharing this with us, and yeah, hope to see more.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. You got it. Thank you. Okay. Where were we up to? Elaine, right? Sorry, folks. Here we go. Okay. Have another piece by Eileen Power. Eileen is an artist living in Woodstock. This is called Don't Fence Me In. It's mixed media. It's on canvas. It's a $5 dress from a yard sale, and leather barbed wire. Talking about artist therapy, Eileen is a great example of someone that uses art as a way of release and a way to work out her problems, and she does it just beautifully. There's other works on Artsy of Eileen's if you'd like to have a look. Gabrielle Rabinowitz. Gabrielle, are you here?
I am. Hi.
Oh, hi, welcome. I'm trying to get that little, I don't know what they call it.
I know, they've given me a nice little augmentation to my name here.
Yes. So I do have a request in there for them to fix it.
Wonderful, thanks.
So welcome. This is called Deferring to the Bees. Really, really beautiful piece. And you know, if you when you get a chance, please have a closer look at it and certainly read all the text because there's definitely meaning. So welcome, Gabrielle, and tell us about Deferring to the Bees.
Sure, thank you so much for having me and for including me in this exhibit. You know, I'm new to the area. Had been living in Brooklyn for 6 years and Manhattan for a few years before that, but I recently moved up to just outside of Woodstock. And over the last year, I've really embarked on a collage making practice where what I do is I collect magazines, little pamphlets, flyers, just everything that's the ephemera, paper ephemera around me as I go through my life. And when I have a stack or when I feel moved to do so, I start going through it and just like kind of letting my intuition and what images I see resonate lead me into an art making experience. And this is the collage that I was most proud of from this year, partially because it wasn't just the imagery, but also the text. So I'm inspired by the cut-ups method of Dadaists and David Bowie and many other wonderful folks of, you know, semi-randomly rearranging text and seeing what emerges. So I had a few different text sources and cut up the lines and put them in a box and started pulling them out and putting them into this circle. And what I ended up with was a poem that's about the new year, the Jewish New Year, but also just the general new beginnings, and also about wisdom of nature. And so I think most of my art is really about that, about these universal patterns that we can see around us. And that's what I enjoy so much about my art, is seeing what emerges as I make it.
It's really beautiful. And so you said you put a poem together with the text. Was that sort of like a found poem?
Yeah, this is a found poem that I created by cutting up lines from a few different sources, mixing them together, and then just placing them in a circle as I drew them out. I mean, I used my own editorial skills to put them in a certain order. It was just sort of semi-random.
It's great fun. I mean, it's, you know, I really like being able the whole idea of combining the two disciplines, both, you know, visual art and then the written word. A lot of fun. I like this piece a lot. Yeah, would love to see some more of your work, and welcome to the Hudson Valley.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
A very creative place, and I think that you'll find your grounding soon, and you fit right in. It's a great community, so welcome. And thanks for joining us. All right. Elaine, are you here? Elaine Ralston?
Yes, I'm here, Robert. How are you?
Good, good. How's the gal?
Oh, she's fine. She's here too.
Good. Give her a treat for me. Everyone, this is Elaine Ralston. Elaine is a fantastic pastel artist over in Olive Bridge. I've had a number of Elaine's works in different shows. And this is the latest, called The Deep.
Yeah, this one was, for me, like water is very healing, and I like painting water, but this one was sort of the storm coming in on the water. It wasn't a plein air painting, it was from my imagination. And I called it The Deep because feelings run deep, and so does the ocean. And I had started off with a sunny day, but I decided to elaborate and make it, I like sort of a mood.
Well, you certainly created a mood here. I mean, it's a chaotic piece with the rough waves, but just the combination of the blues and the purples and the fog, I think is very calming, even though the scene itself is a bit chaotic. So I think you really nice balance there between the two. Is this a reservoir or is this the ocean?
In my imagination, it was the ocean.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Elaine, thanks again for joining us. Yeah, I know I'll see you around. And we actually need to talk about the recycled show.
Okay, great, great.
Yeah, we'll set something.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Elaine.
Bye.
This is a beautiful piece. At first, I thought it was a photograph, but it's an oil painting. This is by Mary Renwick. It's called Beach Stones number 23. It's 36 by 36. And each summer for the past few years, she's gone to Long Island and sort of put together rocks and painted them on canvas. So this is one of them. Beautiful piece.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Tad Richards. Tad is an artist here in Saugerties. Well, he's in Kingston now. Originally from Saugerties. This is called Girl with Feet Tucked Under. Tad's been really playing around with digital paintings later and or lately. This is a great representation of the kind of work that he's been doing. It's a lot of fun. So it's Tad Richards. This is a gorgeous abstract piece by Monique Robideau. Monique, where does Monique live? I think she lives in Kingston. This is called Canyon Crossing. It's oil on canvas, and it's a smallish piece. It's 20 by 20, but it's again a great balance of colors. I love that white splash in the middle. I mean, it almost does look like an ocean wave, almost a little bit of the whole chaotic nature that Elaine had in her piece. This is a new piece of a new artist for the gallery, Madison Rogers. Madison lives in Louisiana. This is oil on canvas, and it's vices. It's 47 by 40. So by using self-portraiture within still life, Madison is exploring how the subject matter of objects influence narratives in the painting. The objects depicted are commonly known substances used to depict vices one might have. I discovered how I can create psychologically charged imagery within self-portraiture through this painting. Beautiful abstract piece. Beautiful abstract piece by, this is by Yvonne Rojas Cowan. Yvonne lives here in Saugerties. This is called Side Effects. It's mixed media. It's oils, acrylics, pastels, and Prisma pencil, and it's 36 by 36. Dominic, I had the pleasure over was it the summer? Spring?
It was. It was still officially summer.
Yeah. Well, Dominic, I've known for a couple of years now. I've exhibited his work. Always a pleasure to exhibit his work. I'm a big fan of it. But he did a residency over at Birdcliff this summer, and was exploring the whole idea of different workers work in different disciplines. So I saw this on an earlier version, and we had talked about this painting for quite a bit. So I'm really glad to see it all complete. And yeah, so let me bring Dominic up, and I'll shut my mouth and let him talk. Tell us about the series, about the residency. I could see why this is your favorite, but tell me anyway. Welcome, Dominic.
Thank you. Thank you for having it. Thank you for your gracious words while I was working on it and helping move it along. The residency, I took the residency as a chance to paint larger and get back into oil painting, which I haven't done in decades. And it was 3 weeks of just looking at oils and canvas and nothing else, and not being able to, or choosing not to use watercolor or any of the other typical mediums that I'm used to. and it gave me the space and the time. And this one was off of a very quick drawing that I go out and I do studies of people, laborers, people working, you know, road paving crews, you know, printers, anything is open. And I happened to spend the summer drawing at Fishkill Farms and the crew, and this was just a tractor going off in the distance really quickly. And I did a sketch on the floor, having no idea how to translate into an oil painting, and it was a big shift for the year and the work in terms of how I went from what I typically do to something bigger and more. I don't even know what the word would be, but it was a great shift for me.
I like
for that time period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It suits you.
Thank you.
Tell us about the piece that we're looking at here. It's called Behind the Tractor.
So this piece, I literally walked down to the bottom of the hill as everybody was leaving. So this was like the last remnant of everyone going off to a new another location. So it was a very barren drawing. It was just a tractor up in the hill. But I could kind of feel all that change of, all right, we just did, you know, they never stop, you know, it's like all week long, it's sun up, sun down. They're just working, you know, other than lunch, but they're just working all day long. And I wanted to try and convey all the energy, but in a very, you know, from a very basic, you know, nothing's really happening. It's just driving away. You know, it's like it's going off to its next location, but there was all this energy about it that happened in this, you know, singular moment. So give me a chance to play with, you know, different graphics and marks than I usually do. So
Yeah, the circular movements there, I mean, really add to the energy of the piece. I mean, I could feel the work that's going on there and the hard labor. I think without those circular pieces, it would have been a completely different piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
it was a different drawing altogether, but like the drawing never, like I drew it because it just happened so quickly.
Yeah.
But the drawing never captured what I knew the feeling was. So I had that feeling and I always saw that feeling in the drawing, but the drawing just didn't have it. So, you know, spent a lot of time on it while I was alone in the woods at Birdcliff.
Nice. Yeah, beautiful piece. I love the
Thank
end in it. I really like the little sheep off to the side. Yeah, it's really beautiful. I'm happy to see, you know, it all complete. The colors are, you know, they're just balanced so nicely, and it's really stunning, Dominic. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
And I'd love to, you know, keep me updated on you know,
I will.
in this series. I'd love to see some more. All right. Thanks, Dominic. And I encourage you to
Thank
go
you.
at some of Dominic's work. On Artsy, he had a series of small paintings of different landscapes. So there's a bunch of those on there. Yeah, some really beautiful work. Thanks, Dominic. I hope to see you soon.
Likewise. Thank you.
Okay, Linda Schultz. Linda is an artist living in Saugerties, I think. Probably wrong. Woodstock. This is called Grassy Field. It's oil on paper. It's a small piece. It's 9 by 12. John Scribner. John lives in West Shokan. This is called Pokey Amok. It's an energized field of psychedelic objects that straddles a split background of sand and artificial grass. John continues to experiment with the contrast between painterly and sculptural elements, blending collage and paint with 3D objects. Really nice photograph from, this is John T. Smith. John is an artist living here in Saugerties, and this is a photograph. It's called Car Wash. Judy. I think I saw you come in.
Hey, Robert, how you doing?
We're here. Good to see you. Hi,
Great
Judy.
to be here. Thank you for including me.
Always a pleasure. I love you.
Likewise, likewise.
Purples in this are so lush. I just love it.
Oh, thank you.
Such a
Thank
great balance between the darkness on the bottom and the light airiness on the top. Really, really nicely done.
Thank you, Robert. I've been really especially drawn to the high peaks. They have that bold, strong wow feeling, which really has inspired me and inspiring me to paint larger pieces as well. So I've been returning. That piece I did at the end of 2022 and finished at home. And it was juried into the Arizona Pastel Association National in January. So it has a place in my heart, as Arizona does, but the high peaks have been drawing me. So I go generally for those wow sort of scenes, and this one had that exhilarating sort of feeling.
It's interesting, I find that, because I know you're also inspired a lot by Cape Cod.
Yes.
And it's interesting to see just the difference between your coastal pieces and then your I know you have a number of different pieces of desert and whatnot.
Yes, yes. I don't know if I'm a beach bum or a desert rat or a mountain lion.
In either case, I mean, you render them beautifully, but there is a difference between the two.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, especially like this piece. I mean, I think I had seen this once before. Maybe you showed it to me earlier in the year.
Yeah, I may have. Right.
It's gorgeous. I just love having it.
Oh, thank you so much, Robert. Great seeing you, and thanks for including me.
See you, and I know we'll be in touch soon.
Indeed, indeed.
All right. I did skip over someone else by mistake that I want to go back to. Where are you, Doug? Okay, Doug Smith. This is a fun piece. This is called Umbrellas. Umbrella number 2. It's a photograph. At first, I thought it was a painting, but it is a photograph. It's 6 by 19, and Doug is a wonderful artist that lives in New Jersey. Letty Sullivan. Letty is a new artist for Emerge Gallery. This is called, she lives in Saratoga Springs. This is called Tidal Pool Sunset. It's a mixed media on canvas. It's a little large. It's 44 by 33. And it's a beautiful abstract piece. Lots of real wonderful gestural motions. Another artist new to the gallery is Janelle Tracy. Janelle lives in Maryland. This is called Yara. It's oil on canvas. It's 24 by 48. It is a little larger piece, but the movement in this is just a lot of fun. And the just how one color slides into another, beautifully done. Okay, I have a piece by Becky Wobble, Becky Wog. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Becky, I think you're here. Maybe you're not. If you are, no, you're not. Okay. So this is Becky lives in Topeka, Canvas. This is called Ms. Cherry Berry and Banana Man. It's acrylic on canvas and it's 24 by 30. This is a fun piece. Makes me want chocolate. Okay, another artist that's new to the gallery is Forrest Wilson. Forrest lives in Orlando. Forrest, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here today.
Oh, great, excellent. Welcome, welcome. I'm sorry we're running a little behind.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. It gave me time to get my thoughts together and everything.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Great to meet you too.
Join us. This piece is called The Magician of Flowers, correct?
Yeah.
Great. Please tell us about it. The colors are something about purples today. I'm loving it.
Thank you. Yeah, color is really like a very big crux of all of my work. But hi everyone, I'm Forrest Wilson. Nice to meet you all. So this work is a series of fantastical self-portraits where I kind of become these magical alter egos. And to really discuss my work, I kind of have to talk a little bit about my history. So I'm a product of the US foster care system here in the rural South, Florida to be specific. And so if you don't know anything about those homes, they're often very Christian moral centered, and they reinforce a lot of religious doctrine. And as a queer non-binary person, it created a lot of like trauma that made it difficult for me to understand, like to not feel like who I was evil or bad in some way. You know, so I'm really grateful for the system for housing me and providing for me, but you know, at the same time, it created a lot of difficulty for me as an adult, like reconciling my past. So I view my work as a way of like empowering myself with this like aesthetic of divinity that is inspired by a lot of religious artwork, a lot of Renaissance art and Mannerist artists. There's this idea of beauty and power kind of intermingling in the figures in those work that I like to apply to myself as a queer person, to queer characters, kind of trying to create like queer heroic figures through like that divine aesthetic. And so there's this, so here I am as this magician cradling a green carnation. And if you see on the face, there's this blue tear flowing into the flower, which for me was like symbolic of casting a spell and making a wish, the idea of like maybe even through grief, you know, hope can bloom or blossom. There's a time that comes that, you know, we aren't sure of, that we can manifest in some way. And behind the figure, there's this corona of light in the clouds that for me was evocative of like a sunset or of a new dawn. Again, speaking to the idea of there's a time that comes that we hope will be better, you know, a better future. The flowers are symbolic, are symbols. Sorry, lost my train. The pansies in the top and the bottom, and the left and the right, as well as the carnation, are birth flowers associated with my birth month. And the fairy irises dotting the corners are flowers that are used that are common in my neighborhood. So I see them on my daily walks. So there's, again, this kind of intermingling of fantasy and real life. Another big inspiration for me is like modern video game art and the idea of role-playing games. You know, you create a character who has this kind of important destiny. So that also like really applies to what I was talking about before with Mannerist and Renaissance artists, this idea of power and beauty and becoming, transfiguring into something like more powerful. So, yeah.
Forrest, I thank you for sharing that with us. I love hearing, you know, the background story of your life and how, you know, art can really be healing. You know, so it's, I think, you know, in this case, I mean, I can certainly relate to a lot of what you're saying. You know, having a religious impact on someone, you know, that's you know, growing up a little different than everyone else. And religion can certainly play a detrimental role in that. So I'm really glad that art was able to sort of lift you out of that and into who you are. So it's a joyous piece, and I think it's a real celebration of life, and you know, the color is just really gorgeous. So thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for sharing the piece. And I, you know, I hope to see a lot more from you. Keep going. I mean, this is really beautiful.
Thank you very much. I have a residency in Brooklyn, so coming up soon. So maybe you'll see more of my stuff soon out there.
Great, congratulations, and yeah, enjoy that. I think you'll get a lot out of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Great to be here.
Thank you. Next, I have a piece by Lynn Wood. Lynn, I believe, is here.
Yes, I am here. And it's Lynn Woods with an S.
Lynn Woods, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So first of all, I want to congratulate you, Robert, on a fantastic show. I mean, there's just such a variety of work, such great quality, and I'm really enjoying hearing people talk about their work. So thank you for that.
You got it.
So I live in Kingston. I was a plein air painter that did scenes of factories and other industrial waterfront paintings in Kingston. They're all gone now. So lately I've been kind of fixated on New York City, where I'm from originally. I take lots of photographs. And so this is part of a whole series of street scenes in Manhattan. I guess the reason I'm interested in New York is just such a dramatic landscape with such extremes of space, you know, in terms of huge skyscrapers in the distance and close-up objects. So I really like the variety of scale, and I'm very interested in light and geometry. I think also the urbanscape of Manhattan is just so geometrical. So I like the combination of the sort of geometrical space, a kind of Renaissance space with the figure. I do a lot of figure drawing, so this is my way to kind of bring the figure in. And I really enjoy the different movements, these sort of natural movements, kind of street dance that people have. So in this painting, these are all done on paper. I like the matte finish of paper, and I do change things around. I really try to abstract somewhat from the photograph, take out a lot of detail. And I've learned that if a scene interests me, take several photographs, because often there'll be something in the way, some problem, and I have to invent it, and that's often difficult. So this one, I happened to take a number of photographs. The woman in the skirt in the kind of the middle distance was originally right next to the guy, and it just wasn't working compositionally. So I had this other photograph, so I combined different images of the same thing. And the reason is I want to create a sense of movement into space. The composition really matters. And so I often, you know, as I said, take things out and manipulate. And the other thing is that often the skies are blue because I like to film, you know, I like to take pictures when there's a lot of shadows. I'm getting tired of the blue skies. So in this case, I made it kind of a pale violet to kind of harmonize with the browns and the ochres.
Nice. I've seen a handful of these before from this year. We've sold a couple. And the series is wonderful. I'm hoping that you know, Lynn and I have been working on hopefully more.
Yeah, thanks. And you know, it's like I never get over my Hopper fixation.
Oh, I mean, this is gorgeous. I mean, how can you know, it's beautiful.
Anyway, they are a lot of fun. Although ideally I would do them plein air, but it just isn't possible.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the Hopper fixation.
Okay, thanks.
You got it. Good to see you, Lynn.
Thanks.
I'll see you soon. We'll be in touch. Yes. All right, wonderful. Cindy Zaglin. Cindy, are you here? I know you said you wanted to join us, but you weren't sure if you would be able to. Maybe not. Okay. So this is a piece by Cindy Zaglin. Cindy is a new artist for the gallery. Cindy lives in Brooklyn. This is called It's Not You, It's Me. It's mixed media on paper. It's 24 by 18. Okay, our last few. Hamad Zita. Hamad lives in New York. This is called Nari. It's a mixed media digital painting. It's 38 by 28. The red in this is just gorgeous. I love it. This is by Maka Zita, also in New York. I think they may be related. I'm not too sure. This is called Time Now. It's dipping pen ink, pen on paper, and mixed media, and it's 38 by 28. I love those reds. And then our final piece is by Sherry Zuckerman. Sherry, I know from New Jersey when I was over there. Sherry lives in New Jersey. This is called Cleaning Day. It's a collage with vintage magazines and ink on black paper. And it's a small piece. It's 8.5 by 11. It's a lot of fun. I think it really speaks to, you know, it speaks to so much. It speaks to, you know, our society and how, you know, how women are sort of typecast into certain roles. It plays with the whole tradition of, you know, women home with the family, taking care of the home. And she does it in a real playful way. I really like the markings that are in the back. Good job, Sherry, and I hope to see you again. So that's it for Best in Show. I did want to tell you about what I have coming up. I'm currently curating a show called Food for Thought. you know, a lot of times kitchens can be, is the meeting place for, at parties for family. It's always the center of many homes. So why not have some good art for your kitchen? I mean, you have it elsewhere. So this show is really focusing on food related art. It could be food itself. It could be, you know, cooking utensils. You know, really just, you know, use your imagination. So that's the call for art that I have out now. That's our next show on Artsy. And then following that, I'm going to be putting out a call this week for a show called Neutral. These days, a lot of people are, especially the younger generation, are sticking to very minimalist and neutral colors in their, you know, interior design and elsewhere in their art as well. So, you know, a lot of times I have color-based themes. This one is just going to be neutral colors. You know, it could be some paler colors, some tans, some grays, just something, you know, just very neutral that will, you know, fit lots of different categories in different areas. For both shows, all of my shows are pretty much mixed media. You know, I accept photography, small sculptures, paintings, work on paper, collage, runs the gamut, unless it's specific to a certain medium. So that call is coming out soon. We've got the food for thought that's out now. Yeah, you'll probably, I'm also working on some other opportunities. I've been approached by a number of artists on different ways that they can really participate and have their work available through Artsy. So I'm looking at other ways for artists to participate as well, in addition to the group shows that I usually run. So pulling all that together, you know, I'm evolving into you know, something a little different, something a little more, but I will continue doing these group shows. I certainly will continue doing these artist discussions because I love running them. I you know, a lot of times I don't have a chance to meet the artist face to face, so at least, you know, I can meet them screen to screen. And you know, I get a real kick out of, and I know others do too, out of just hearing directly from the artist what the work is about, their process. It's a lot different than just reading a artist statement. So, you know, we've got a lot coming up. I want to thank all the artists who participated today, all the artists who weren't able to make it. Unfortunately, you know, I wasn't, since we do have quite a bit of artists here, I wasn't able to really give the amount of attention each piece deserves. But like I said, I wanted to really hand it over to the artists here because, you know, you don't want to hear me talk all the time. So anyway, so thanks everybody. And again, we will, I'll be back next month with the food for thought. In the meantime, everybody keep creating, keep, you know, keep it going. We'll see you next time. Thanks everyone.
Thanks.
Enjoy this weather. I don't know if you're up by me, but I think we're going to be expecting some snow. Feels like.
Thank you very much.
You got it. Good to meet everyone. Thanks again.